How's it going, everyone? It's Spencer here with Spencer's Stuff. Welcome to the community. I appreciate you being here. Right behind me, I have the 85-inch Bravia 9. I had decided to buy this back in November, and really it came down as a purchasing decision between the A95L and the Bravia 9. But after going to MWave last year and looking at the 65-inch version, I had fully decided I didn't want ABL anymore, and the full field brightness on OLEDs are just not capable of keeping up with a Bravia 9 or any mini LED for that matter. So I decided to jump in, get the Bravia 9 at the 85-inch size to fulfill my theater room, and I can tell you now I've been absolutely floored since my purchase. In this review, I'm going to be going through gaming, I'm going to be going through sports, and just general content, and giving my overall impressions as to the quality of this TV, and to tell you exactly why this is the best TV I have ever owned. Just a quick disclaimer for you all, I'm not going to be going through all the specs or the details of this TV besides the picture quality. At this rate in time, it's been beaten to death by several other publications. If you need the information, just go to ratings.com or go to HDTV Test, Digital Trends, whoever you want to go to, and they'll give you all the details on the TV. With that out of the way, let's start off with gaming. On my leap of faith going from an OLED to a mini LED, for gaming especially, I was a little bit worried. Everyone talks about how the pixel response is so important on an OLED, and for me I was worried that the slower pixel response of the LED TV would cause problems. After owning an X930E for quite a while, I knew that pixel smearing and motion smearing was an issue because of the slower pixel response, but I can happily say the Bravia 9 did not exhibit any major trailing, any ghosting, or anything that was distracting to me, especially in the backlighting system. That was another thing I was worried about. I was worried I would see a lot of blooming because the backlights would need to be adapting real time. This TV handles gaming so well. I am so impressed with the picture quality of their game mode. I can get extremely vibrant colors, especially at 4K 60 FPS on the PS5 Pro. I find that the colors are rich and vibrant in HDR, as well as that you can really push brightness that I could not touch with the OLED TV. This TV really brings the luminance value up, especially at full field SDR and HDR, and I feel like it moved me from being in the game to being immersed in the game, if that makes sense. I wasn't playing it as much as I was being immersed in it. As well as this, with the black levels being slightly raised, I found that the shadow detail was a little bit higher, which made FPS gaming a little bit easier as well, because you're not dealing with black crush or any situation along those lines with this TV. And overall, I found that at 120 FPS, gaming was a treat as well. I was worried there'd be color fall off, that the 120 FPS would cause the backlight to have problems, that I would lose a ton of contrast. None of it. This TV handles 60, 120 FPS, both of them without problems. You are going to be so excited when you play games on this TV and really being able to tune in the game mode to exactly how you like it. If you're someone who wants a rich, punchy image, you're going to be able to get it from this game or from this TV. If you want something that's a little bit toned back, you can do that. Something that's super bright and punchy, go ahead. Something that's laid back in a dark room, you can do that too. And that's the beautiful thing about the mini LED TVs. You can kind of make the image your own, and that is something that I have found has been a paramount thing when it comes to gaming on this Bravia 9. So getting into the general picture quality section, I'm going to be talking about SDR first. SDR is something that was very important for me when getting a new TV because I was not impressed with SDR on an OLED. It's not bright enough at full field. SDR on this thing was blowing my eyes out, and I had to dial back the brightness a little bit to get it to where it was comfortable for me. That is what I want to have to do. If your TV is able to produce a massive amount of brightness in SDR and you're able to tune it back and make it the way you want to make it, that's a good thing. You want to have overhead room. SDR was vibrant, it was punchy, it was strong, it was enjoyable to watch, and it's super immersive. Are you going to lose some of the contrast compared to an OLED? Of course you are. You don't have the pixel level control. But this is where I talk to people about is contrast is not the only thing that's important. Contrast and brightness, in my opinion, go hand in hand. And yes, I understand if you don't have contrast and you have too much brightness, it can create a problem. But this TV has it dialed in to where it's just perfect. You can do both contrast and brightness and get probably about 75 to 80% of an OLED's contrast on this TV. Now with HDR movies and content, YouTube, anything along those lines, HDR is just stunning. I took, HDR is like next level when it comes to these TVs because you have just a super punchy, off the charts bright highlight on all these TVs, especially on like a 10 to +% window. I was watching a video, I wish I could show it, I can't because it's copyrighted, but it was a NASA video, basically showing the sun, the earth, and the moon, and it just showed them up close. And in the one portion of it, the sun was in the middle of the screen. The black levels looked perfect, but the sun was just glowing off the screen. And everyone that I've had over to show them that video has just been like, whoa. It is absolutely insane to look at, and it's super immersive. That's the thing, the colors don't feel wrong. They feel like there's true purpose behind them, that they're accurate, that I could see them in real life. And that is what I shoot for when I want to watch this TV. Now, if you're someone who's more of an enthusiast and you want the colors to be really accurate and to the point, you want a creator's intent, you can do it with this TV. And this is the flexibility of image that I know Brian at Brian's Tech Therapy talks about, that I always want in a TV. You want to be able to make it your own and really enjoy it how you want to enjoy it. At the end of the day, you're the person buying this TV. And for me specifically, I wanted a real life looking TV, and I got it with this one. I couldn't find an OLED that's able to do anything that this mini LED can. And kind of off topic here, but I was watching a video earlier today from Vincent at HDTV Test, and he talked about retinal light scatter. And he finally gave me the answer to why I love mini LED TVs so much. The blooming can accent the image on the screen. We were talking about a pure RGB mini LED TV, and I know this is off topic, but this retinal light scattering simulates the aura or the blooming that you might see around a really bright object in real life. And I feel like this TV's blooming is not ridiculous. Like, you don't really see it. It more like enhances the look of what's on screen. And I find that it adds more of a realistic look to it, which is a really good thing. So yeah, retinal light scatter, I did not know that was a thing, and I finally learned that that is why I see mini LEDs as being more realistic than an OLED, because OLEDs really don't have blooming that much or at all. So yeah, this TV for HDR, SDR, all of it, you're gonna be floored, man. I tell you, you're gonna have a lot of fun with this TV, making it however you wanna make it. So yeah, this 85-inch TV is no slouch, even compared to the 65-inch version. You're gonna be very, very excited having it. It's great. Now, the next portion of picture quality comes down to motion, as well as panel uniformity and sports. So specifically when it comes to sports and the fast motion that you see, the motion can sometimes get tripped up. And on this TV being an 85-inch, it's going to be more obvious when there are motion issues. And I can definitely tell you that this TV has some more motion issues than what I did on my A90J. But that being said, the A90J was a 65-inch, so it made it less obvious if there were issues in motion resolution. Once you get used to it, it's not a problem. And I'm specifically talking about the soap opera effect. I didn't have any issues when I turned off the soap opera effect. For me, it was when I turned it on, it kind of stuttered a little bit and I'd start getting a little bit here and there, but it's nothing more than what I'm used to. So if you're someone who likes soap opera effect like I do, you can still do it on this TV and not feel like you're missing out on smooth motion, but there might be a few more stutters here and there. I don't care, frankly. And then when it came to sports, I found this TV to be able to keep up very well when it came to the actual motion. Hockey, football, soccer, I tested them all. I never felt like it was getting behind. Quick panning shots were no issue for this TV. Quick movement between scenes was no problem at all. So if you go from one scene to the next, or they do a close-up and zoom back out, it didn't feel like there was no stutter in there between the motion picking back up to where, you know, scene to scene it would cause issues. So I found that the overall quality of the motion was fine. And then panel uniformity wise, that's another situation. I didn't have any problems with this panel. You can kind of see it in this video on the corners that I have a smidge of vignetting, and it's pretty much exaggerated on this. But there's a small vignetting on the corner, and I think that's pretty common on Sony TVs. It's not distracting. It really isn't when you're watching content. And frankly, with all this backlighting that I have, you don't really pick up on it. So if you're someone who's looking for a really clean looking panel, good motion, solid motion, this TV gonna do everything you need to. And if you want something that's very vibrant and strong for sports, this is another great TV, especially in a bright room. This is another thing I need to talk about. If you're someone who likes to watch content in a really bright room, this TV is gonna be no slouch for you. You're gonna have no problems putting this in a bright room, and you're gonna enjoy it just as much in a bright room as you will in a dark room. You're probably even gonna have to tone back the brightness a little bit in a dark room if you don't have any accent lighting. So yeah, this TV is honestly just so much fun to use. I can't keep saying it enough. You're gonna be very happy with the motion on this TV. So the last thing we have to talk about, and the elephant in the room, mini LED or OLED, the Bravia 9 or the A95L. I made my decision, and this was the reason that I went with it. If you're someone who wants a very bright image, you want something, say, above a 10% window that's gonna pop off the screen and provide really rich color and something that's a little bit more realistic, this is the TV you're gonna wanna go with. If you're wanting something with pure contrast, micro detail, and something that is a little bit more creative intent, I would go with the OLED. There is no bad technology, and it needs to be said. No matter what you pick, you're getting a really freaking good TV at this point in time. Even from lower end TVs, if you're watching this review and you can only afford a cheap TCL or a cheap Hisense, you are still getting a very good TV. It doesn't matter. The beautiful thing about mini LED is I think it has the most flexibility of an image out of any sort of TV technology, because you can really tune in the brightness to improve black levels, or if you really want to make a punchy image, you can. OLEDs kind of tap out in terms of brightness, and they just cannot touch SDR brightness that this TV can. So yes, in a bright room, you'll still be able to see it, but it's not going to punch through the sunlight like something like this will. So down to it, you need to look at your use case and figure out what you want to do. If you have a very bright room, you can use a mini LED in there to really punch through, but if you have a dark room, maybe the OLED's gonna be better for you. Down to it, it's gonna be your decision. And there is no wrong decision, and I wanna clarify that. There will be people online that you see all the time saying one is better than the other. You have to pick one because this has better contrast. Don't listen to it. Go watch the TVs for yourself, make your informed decision, and enjoy your TV. There is no bad TV. So do I recommend the Bravia 9? Honestly, yes. This is the best TV I have ever owned out of any of them. Even compared to an OLED TV, I've been truly enjoying the Bravia 9. Is it a perfect TV? No. But the fact of the matter is gaming is a treat on it. I have great HDR at 60 FPS. The backlight keeps up really well. I see very minimal ghosting, if any at all. At 120 FPS, games run smooth in SDR and HDR. When it comes to general content, HDR impact, it just pops off the screen. You get vibrant, really punchy colors, and it's an enjoyable experience that I can make my own. Flexibility of image on this 85-inch is something that it needs to be touted, and that is what I love about it. I made this TV exactly my own. Motion resolution's great. I have no problems with it. It's exactly what I need it to be. If you're someone who doesn't like soap opera effect, you can tune it back and still have fantastic motion. And all in all, this TV, although not perfect, is exactly what you're gonna want. Is it better than OLED? Yes and no. And I made that emphasis before. But if you're someone who really does enjoy mini LED TVs, this one is a damn good one. It's gonna be hard to beat for you. Take a look at it, give it a chance, and I don't think you'll be disappointed in your decision. If you all like this video, please like, comment, subscribe. As well as that, if you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments or just leave general comments. I would love to hear from you. And if you own the Bravia 9 already, since this has been out for a while, please let me know how you like it. I like to create a community around here, and I'd like to talk to you all. Anyway, I hope you have a great day, great evening, whatever it might be in your area, and I'll talk to you all later. Thank you all so much.